The silence inside Maison Aria, the most exclusive restaurant in downtown Chicago, was nearly unbearable. Forks paused midair. Conversations froze. 10-year-old Ethan Blake, his legs braced in cold metal from a tragic accident 2 years earlier, was standing shakily beside the table. His trembling hand reached out toward Ava Carter, the restaurant's only black waitress. The live pianist had just begun a gentle waltz. No one expected what happened next. "Sir, control your son," barked Manager Fields. "This isn't a dance floor. Our staff is not here to entertain children." Across the table sat Grant Blake, one of the wealthiest men in America, CEO of Blake Horizons, and a man not used to feeling powerless. This dinner had been his attempt to reconnect with Ethan after years of emotional distance. "Ethan, sit down," he ordered, his voice low but commanding. Ava didn't move. Her eyes flicked between the boy, the furious manager, and the billionaire. Then she calmly untied her apron. "Mr. Fields, my shift's over." She walked straight to Ethan and took his hand. "I don't dance in aprons." Gasps echoed around the restaurant. Ethan's foot dragged on the floor, metal braces screeching, but Ava simply matched his slow, awkward pace. "She'll be fired tomorrow," a woman at a nearby table whispered. But Ethan's eyes lit up with something that had been missing for years: pride. He wasn't being helped. He was leading. After a few short, slow steps, Ava brought Ethan back to the table. "Thank you for asking me out," she said with a smile. "It was an honor." She turned to leave, but Grant stood up. "Wait. What's your full name?" "Ava Carter." He repeated the name to himself, then handed her a card. "My office. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. As she walked away, Ethan asked, "Dad, why did you do that?" Grant looked at his son and, for the first time in years, didn't see a medical case to be managed. He saw a child he didn't really know. The next morning, Ava entered the glittering Blake Horizons skyscraper. Her thrifted blouse and second-hand heels were in sharp contrast to the marble and glass around her. "18th floor," the receptionist said. Monica, the assistant, guided Ava through mirrored hallways. "Let me guess. He had you fired." Ava chuckled. "Not yet." Inside a massive office overlooking Lake Michigan, Grant waited, staring out the window. "You have a background?" he asked eventually. "A bachelor's in child development from Northwestern. Almost finished my master's in special education. And now you're waiting tables?" "3 jobs. The restaurant, tutoring, and weekends at a bookstore." Grant opened a folder. "You started a program, Step Free, for children with disabilities. It's about to shut down. No funding." "I want to hire you," Grant said. Ava raised an eyebrow. "As a waitress in your home?" "No." "As a therapeutic companion for Ethan?" Ava stood. "No." "You'd make 5 times what you do now," Grant argued. "I don't work for people who see my race or my income before my ability," Ava said calmly. "And your son deserves more than someone paid to pretend." She pulled a card from her purse. "Step Free. Tuesdays and Thursdays. 4 o'clock. First class is free." She left without looking back. The following week, Ava's sister Janelle, co-founder of Step Free, whispered, "There's a Bentley outside. Guess who's in it?" Through the window, Ava saw Ethan, wide-eyed in the back seat. Grant was in the driver's seat. He looked like a man at war with himself. But then he got out. "You did something," Janelle said. Ava didn't answer, but her eyes sparkled. She knew the real transformation had just begun. Inside Step Free's warehouse studio, children danced freely, some in wheelchairs, some with braces, all moving to their own rhythm. "This looks chaotic," Grant muttered. "There's structure," Ava said. "Just not the kind you recognize." Ethan joined in hesitantly. Moments later, Dr. Helen Marks, a retired neuroscientist, entered. "You rejected my research proposals 3 times, she told Grant. "But here we are." Ava added, "Step Free integrates adaptive dance with neuroplasticity research." Ethan responded because no one corrected him. "We followed him." A group of reporters arrived. Grant panicked. "You used my son." "We published results today," Dr. Mark said. And you're here, witnessing it in action. A commotion drew everyone's attention. Ethan stood in the center of the room. He had removed one brace, and with visible effort, took a shaky, unsupported step. The room erupted in applause. A tear escaped Grant's eye. "You choreographed all this," he whispered. "No," Ava replied. "Ethan did. I just followed." In front of flashing cameras, a reporter asked, "Mr. Blake, any comment on rejecting this program's funding?" Grant looked at Ethan, then at Ava. And he did something no one expected. "I was wrong," he said. "The Blake Foundation will fund Step-Free fully for the next 5 years and build a permanent rehabilitation center. No corporate oversight. Ava Carter leads." 6 months later, Step-Free's new facility opened. Ethan now walked with only one lightweight brace. He led a simple dance with other children, his smile lighting up the room. "You never needed to hold him," Ava whispered. "No," Grant replied, "but I need to be here." 1 year after the opening of the Step-Free Center, something extraordinary began to happen. Ava Carter's phone rang constantly, calls from cities across the country. Hospitals, schools, even government agencies wanted to understand the movement autonomy model that Step-Free pioneered. Chicago was just the beginning. Janelle was now leading a new Step-Free location in Cleveland, while Ava oversaw a partnership with a children's rehabilitation hospital in Denver. Grant Blake, once uncomfortable in chaotic, messy rooms filled with children, now spoke confidently about neuroplasticity and empathy-based therapy at educational conferences. And Ethan? He'd become more than just a success story. He was a quiet revolution in motion. In an auditorium in Detroit, Ethan stepped on stage with a mic in hand. Sometimes, all a kid needs is for someone to believe they can lead. The applause lasted 5 full minutes. One afternoon, Ava received an envelope with no return address. Inside was a handwritten letter. "Dear Miss Carter, I was at Maison Aria that night. I judged you. I whispered that you'd be fired. I was wrong. I'm a school counselor now. Last week, I saw a boy hesitate during recess with his walker. I didn't help him. I waited. I followed. He took his first step alone. Thank you. A stranger who learned to follow _ Ava sat at her desk, holding the letter with quiet reverence. She had no idea that night, when she chose to follow Ethan's lead, she'd spark something so much bigger than herself. It was a rainy Thursday when Ava found herself alone in the dance studio. She turned on the music softly and looked at the wall of photos, kids dancing, falling, laughing. She caught her own reflection in the mirror. Not the tired waitress from 2 years ago. Not the woman with rejected research and unpaid bills. But a leader who'd changed the world without needing a stage, a CEO title, or anyone's permission. Behind her, she heard a familiar voice. Practicing for the recital? Grant stood at the door with Ethan, now almost as tall as her. "No," she smiled. "Just reminding myself where this started." Ethan grinned. "With a dance." When leaders learn to follow. The second Step-Free Gala was held in a repurposed airplane hangar, big enough for 500 people, and filled with energy. Children danced freely. Doctors and parents watched in awe. At the end of the night, Ava walked on stage. Her speech was short. "We didn't build this by leading. We built it by following every child who dared to believe they could move on their own terms. And that is how we move the world." Then, she stepped down and took Ethan's hand. This time, he didn't need braces. They danced to the same melody that played the night it all began. Only now, there was no silence in the room. No frozen forks. No judgment. Just movement. Just freedom. Just everyone finally learning how to follow.